Hello, divine man. Hello, divine woman. And welcome to the safe space. I promise my theme song for this year has been Me by Tamia. And her name is Me. And she loves me more than you'll ever know. And I finally see that love in you and love in me just don't seem to work at all. So patiently, she's waiting on me to tell you that she needs love. And to choose between you two. Boy, you know if I had to choose, I'd choose me. Do you know what it's like to have your hopes and dreams standing in front of you? Following the adult child little mini series, it made me think about how growing up I used to have certain desires, certain requests, certain things that I wanted in life. And there's one thing I had always prayed for in life. And I'm talking about down to the specifics. Do you hear me? As I grew older, as I learned more things, I just fine tuned that prayer like it was nobody's business. And then one day, it was in front of me. One day, it arrived after decades of wanting it. It was before me, and I didn't know how to act. I was like, this is a dream. This isn't real. This is a joke. Who's fucking with me right now? What is going on? It didn't seem real. It seemed too good to be true. It seemed like somebody spiritually was playing a joke on me, and that what I had asked for was just a mirage, and it wasn't really there. And that was how it stayed. That's how it's been since it arrived. Fear of, am I crazy? Hesitation of, is this real? Doubt of, is this really happening? After having been disappointed for so long, it was hard. It is hard to look at it and say, this is exactly what I prayed for. This is exactly what I wanted. And I'm going to give it all I got. Started pointing out the flaws. Like, this is what's happening. This is what's doing. Look at that. Look at that. That ain't right. That ain't what it's supposed to be. It ain't supposed to go that way. Not at all. What the? You know, the list goes on with the things that I told myself. I started nitpicking. Mentally, of course. You don't just started nitpicking. This ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't what I asked for. I asked for black. This is purple. I asked for purple, this is black. Like just pointing out the details. Oh, but I didn't specify that in the prayer. Oh, okay. Like maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board, or it's too abrasive. And that's what it's been. You know, I always hear people say, getting what it's not what they expected. And I understand that. Of course I expected it, but not in its ooh. I can't even talk right now because I'm still processing this. It's what I expected on a small scale, but it in all its entirety got me like, okay, yeah, this is what I asked for, but am I ready? Mm, mm. Am I ready? And that started getting triggered. Oh my gosh, believe me not. Lizzo has a song called "Am I to Be Loved? Am I Ready?" And I listened to the song and I'm like, oh, this is a good song. Am I ready? Like I am just going ham on the song every time I hear it. But it had me asking myself, am I ready? Am I ready? And so here I am. Here I am, this grown ass woman, asking myself, am I ready? Am I ready for something that I have spent decades praying on? 2 decades at this point, I want to say. Am I ready? I'm talking 2 decades of prayer and specifying as time went along, and I shit you not, everything from the beginning, from the very first prayer till now, it's right there in front of me. And you know what my answer was? I don't know. I couldn't answer the question. I could not answer the question. And so I started asking myself, why can't I answer the question? What is the reason? And then everything I said before came running. Fear of being disappointed. Fear that this is just a joke. Doubt. Pain. Flashbacks from the past where I had thought what I had, like I said, this is 2 decades in the making, okay? What I thought, like as different scenarios played, and I thought it was what I had asked for, and it was not. And so I had to take a step back, you know, assess the situation, assess what was before me, and say, this is not what I asked for. But uh, I am going to specify this prayer even more. Let's add this to the list. Let's remove this. Let's tweak this. Let's do whatever needs to get done, because this experience that I just experienced was not a good experience. And so we don't want this to happen again, do we? So after 2 decades of experiencing that, it lands before me, and I'm talking about specifications, everything, yo. Like it's so specific, it's scary. Like a mirage, right? If you're in the desert and you think you're seeing a puddle of water, you're like, is y'all fucking with me? Is this real? And then you get closer, only to realize it is not a mirage, but it is actually water. But now you gotta find your filter, okay, so on and so forth. That's what it's been, right? Showed up exactly as I asked, like, yo, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But it showed up exactly how I've been asking for it to show up. And the only thing was there okay. It showed up how I wanted to show up, but it wasn't perfect. Okay? Again, think about the whole Cinderellas and the princesses and princesses princesses and princes uh analogy that I gave before, right? We have this distorted sort of view on life where things gotta look the way it looks on TV and movies, and it's not gonna happen that way. So, of course, there were some things that I had never even thought about, and they were pretty abrasive. But long story short, this was exactly what I asked for in its entirety before me. Yet I was afraid. I am afraid. I am fearful. I am hesitant. I am looking for the fault in the stars. Like, I'm looking for everything to tell me this isn't real. All those years of disappointment, I'm waiting for it to show up. And so at the smallest hint of things not looking the way I think they should, I blow up. I say, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. Y'all can take it back, universe. It's okay. I'm all right. So, rewinding that, I've already talked about how interesting this year. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, all this was last year. But anyways, that's besides the point. Wait, no, that was this year. And okay, you know what? Fuck it. This ain't got nothing to do with all that. All right. Okay. Anyways, um, it was this year though. With all the stuff that's been happening over the past 2.5 years, it got me like, okay, I thought this was what it wasn't. It was disappointment. I had to stand up for myself. It is what it is moving forward. Same thing. When you go through so many scenarios, you kind of form that habit, right? Like, okay, I already know this ain't gonna go right, but whatever. I'm gonna go with it until it goes wrong. And doing that constantly, your mind gets into that habit like, okay, all right, this comes up, this is cool, all right, till it's not. Sad to say. And so that's where I kind of was leading with when I started saying that me song. It's like, okay, I know what I have always desired from the core of my heart, my spirit, my soul. But in the same breath, I have to remember me, you know? I am my number one player. I have had me all this time in the good, in the bad. So, knowing these two things and knowing that things aren't always going to be right, or there still may be there is some distortion as far as the reality that one wants to see. It forces you to ask the question, am I really ready? And where do I draw the line between what I want and what I'm willing to accept?